Welcome. I'm Winsome Allen, President of the Sydney Mechanics School of Arts. The SMSA was established in 1833 and has the longest running lending library in Australia. To promote the Tom Keneally Centre, we have invited authors to share their thoughts on writing. I would like to thank SMSA member and volunteer Phil Jang for producing these videos.
Hello, my name's Margaret Morgan, and I'm the author of The Second Cure, which is my debut novel. I appreciate this opportunity by the Sydney Mechanics School of Arts and the Thomas Keneally Library to be able to talk to you today about this. I gather that the Thomas Keneally Library is in fact the oldest lending library in Australia, which is quite impressive. Libraries are wonderful things, and I've spent a lot of time in them over the years, as well as in bookshops like this one. So my novel is set in Australia, in contemporary Australia and in near future Australia. It's a political thriller with speculative fiction elements. It concerns a parasite that is a plague across the world. It's mutated from the cat parasite Toxoplasmosis gondii. My version is Toxoplasmosis pestis. And it has a terrible effect on cats. It actually kills cats. But it also has a huge effect on humans, and humans become the primary host. So what happens with that is that it starts to change the way that human brains work, and as a result it changes human behaviour, and as a result that changes human society. So some of the effects of my parasite include a loss of religious belief, increased progressive politics, and increased sexual behaviour, and increased synesthesia, which is a fantastic and fascinating condition where the different senses in the brain start to meld. So you might, for example, taste a sound, or you might hear a sound and see a colour. So it actually exists, and quite a few people have it, perhaps 10% of the population to varying degrees. But in my case, in the story, it becomes very, very rampant, and it leads to a new form of art, a new art movement. One of the main characters, or probably the main character, is Charlie, who she's a parasitologist, and she becomes involved in trying to find a cure for the parasite. Her partner is a composer and a painter, and he becomes infected, and he loves it. So their relationship is kind of a microcosm of the broader issue that's happening in society, where some people love the parasite, love what it's giving them, and other people hate it, particularly those who lose their religious belief and find that they're starting to lack meaning in their lives as a result. And of course the far right, the Christian right, hates it and is determined to have it abolished. And as a result, there is a formation of a Christian right-wing dictatorship up in far north Queensland, Capricornia, and they ultimately secede from the rest of Australia. So that means that Australia is torn apart, much like the rest of the world is torn apart. And through my characters, I explore the ramifications of that over time. I started writing it when I was studying at Macquarie University about 5 years ago, and I came across this concept of host behavioural modification, which is so absolutely fascinating, and occurs in a lot of species with parasites and their hosts. Often, things like worms, and they change their behaviour so they're more likely to be eaten by a predator, etc. So, it was a really exciting thing. My background is, apart from being in science, is also in law and in politics, and I also wrote television for quite a long time, TV drama for about 15 years with shows like Water Rats and A Country Practice and GP. So I've been writing for a long time, but not writing fiction, well, not writing long form fiction. And it was a wonderful experience to begin to throw myself into such a world of imagination. It was a thrilling and exciting process, and one that if you are interested in becoming a writer, I heartily recommend it, because it's very difficult, very challenging, but the sense of achievement that you get when you finally come out with a manuscript that gets published is just extraordinary and wonderful. If I were to give any advice to readers about, to anybody who wants to become a writer, I think probably initially I would say read lots, read broadly, read across genres and across eras, so that you can understand the history of writing and understand what other writers have done, understand the flow of narrative over the centuries. And the other thing too would be just don't give up. It's a long and lonely process writing a novel, but it's worth it. It's so absolutely worth it. It'll give you a kind of freedom of your imagination that you will never find anywhere else. It's highly recommended. And good luck, and thank you very much for this opportunity to talk to you. And thank you also to Harry Hartog here at Macquarie Centre, one of the loveliest bookshops in Sydney. Thank you.